napalm in the morning. Smell! You know that gasoline smell? The whole hill. Smells like... victory.
Alright, 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 alright. Alright, 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 alright. I never listen, I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the drums.
Happy Thursday, guys.
Ha.
It is Thursday, February 1st. When you are hearing this, well, I suppose that's the minimum day it could be, right? You could listen to this anytime you want, but not before Thursday, February 1st, although we're recording it before.
Yeah.
We're recording it on Business Wednesday.
It's not something you have to explain.
Oh, really?
In that level of detail, yeah.
I just wonder how, like, if we're allowed to just say whatever we want on February 1st, but we literally said it on January 31st, how does that...
Yeah, I don't know, because, I mean, that did come up in court where they were asking us questions about...
Yeah, but you recorded this thing.
Yeah, and we're like, yeah, but we didn't release it, asshole.
Whoa.
Okay, hey.
Sorry, Gigi's
Gigi's
here.
here.
My bad.
We don't need to talk like that.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it's not that we're worried about those listening.
Worried about Gigi.
Worried about Gigi. And Gigi... Is that your real name?
That's
no,
that's not a real name.
It's not a real name.
No.
Okay.
That's what my...
Doesn't mean great-grandma.
Yeah, that's what...
You're not old enough to be a great-grandma.
Grandma. Yeah.
Okay, because we had a Gigi that was great-grandma. Or at least my cousins called her Gigi, and I never put it together until it took me a while. She was our great-grandma.
I think I can say this because I don't think that they listen, but my mother-in-law goes by Gigi for the kids, and my father-in-law goes by Saba, which is actually the Hebrew term for grandfather, because he's super stoked on Israel.
Okay, he does not want a ceasefire?
I don't think so, no. I think he wants to
keep rolling.
Promote fire. Yeah. They've actually been to Israel multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah. So Saba is the Hebrew term for grandfather.
Is that on your bucket list? Go to Israel?
You know what? It's actually beautiful. It actually is, but they didn't actually go there to go see the beautiful parts. They went there to go see, the wall.
The wall?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the Israel wall.
Okay, well, that's the cradle of civilization. So.
All right, go on.
It's where Christ was born.
So you say.
Okay, well, no, literally that's where he was born.
Okay. And there's a wall there? Why would they build a
Western
wall?
Wall. Yeah, there's.
I thought Christ was welcoming, and he wouldn't want to put up a wall.
It's not that type. It's not that type of wall.
Oh,
Mexico.
Oh, it's
paid
like a
for
Yah
it.
wall. It's people
like
put
a Yah
on.
wall.
So
Yeah,
they
they
visited and put her photo on there.
Yeah, with in a bathing suit.
Yeah. Just because
that's exactly what it is.
Even if you're from Israel, you need a little strange now and again. You need
no doubt
to look around. Well, we are not, based on, I think there's some context clues here. You say, well, why is there somebody's grandma in the Dragon Den? Why are they with you high atop Dan's garage?
They are not.
No, we're not high atop my garage.
No.
They're not. We're not.
Yep.
Hell, we're not even in Texas.
No doubt.
We're somewhere called Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we are on our little remote tour. People have been booking some remotes.
By the way, I just want to bang a quick 20.
Yeah.
The Western Wall has a 4.7 Google review rating. Who's doing that?
Somebody's like, Is it like the gum wall in Seattle?
I haven't seen that.
You've never seen the gum wall?
I've never been to Seattle.
That's surprising to me.
I know.
I think you'd love it.
Thanks.
Isn't that weird when people say that? Like, you would love it.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel bad doing that, too. Like, we have a guest on later that will relate to this, but Matt Bruenig, you know who he is and the way he is. A good friend of ours and just one of the dream teamers, an all-time dream team lawyer.
Yep.
For all your labor law needs, we suggest Matt Bruenig.
That's right.
But I was telling him that he had to watch Nathan For You. Like, you have to especially, and really, it is kind of like Nathan's very much like Matt Bruenig.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't watch it. And I'm like, you have to. And then thought, what am I? I'm making this guy, like, who am I to say you've got to devote 30 hours of your life to this show?
Yeah.
To watch all the episodes. Because he should, but I should just, like, recommend it and then leave it at that instead of, like, be that pushy guy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make him go to France, so.
The same kind of applies to us being pushy about
really
Bruenig. Like, I would suggest if you get yourself into a legal bind, find an autistic lawyer.
Okay. I never knew that before.
They're unrelenting.
Yeah.
But
when you drop that,
it's up to you.
You drop that thing of toothpicks on the ground, and he counted them.
He counts them immediately. Yeah.
We took him to Vegas with us.
Yeah.
It was great.
Count cards. Yeah.
I mean, because we need income.
Sure.
So
he's very good at that.
Take your lawyer to Vegas week.
But we are not in Texas. We are not in the Dragon's Den.
No, and I was telling a friend of mine I was talking to on the drive up here. I said, we're on our way to Oklahoma. We're doing the 690 road show and blah, blah, blah. And then when he signed off the phone call, he said, well, hey, remember, stop on your way back. Stop at the border and rinse off.
Okay. Yeah, get the Oklahoma off you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not funny. I'm going to talk to our native Oklahomans here, or the people that invited us. So the people that invited us.
That's what keeps Texas from falling into the ocean.
The people that invited us are
because Oklahoma sucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cakeland like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we should mention we're also on the vid today. Yeah. If you're listening to us and you're saying, hey, what's the scene look like? Well, we have a hot video guy. We traded out normal video guy,
upgraded,
who's been with us for the past 5 or 6 videos in a row, and we needed some beefcake on camera today.
No doubt.
And so that is Michael, who the ladies love, the guys love, everybody loves Michael. And he obviously set us all up here. So this is video number 2 this week. Isn't that weird? Are you allowed to do 2 videos in a week, Jake?
Perhaps you are on February 1.
Very, very interesting.
Are you just eating beef jerky?
So on brand.
Yeah.
That's how you get caked up.
Yeah, that's how you build that body.
So where are we, Dan?
We're at the... I guess I don't want to diminish him by just calling him somebody else's father-in-law, right? This is the abode of the great Carrie Mounts.
Yeah.
Carrie Mounts is a guy we've known for a long time. Well, he's known us for quite some time. We haven't known him for as long, but we then got to know him because we met a guy named Dominic Robinson. Yeah. I did. When I went to visit Clemson years ago to see my daughter in the marching band. And Dominic Robinson DM'd me on Twitter. And I didn't know who he was, and he just said, you want to hook up? I can get you on the field at Clemson. And I thought, oh, okay, that'll be cool. So I end up meeting him. The very long, good story, but short, is that met him and his son Deuce, who it turned out Deuce was a junior in high school at the time, but a 5-star prospect. Would you call him a 5-star prospect?
I think most.
How many stars?
Rating services would call him that, yeah.
Okay,
correct.
that's as many as you can get.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever the amount of stars you're allowed to get,
he
had all of them.
Yeah.
And we actually went and met with Dabo Sweeney in his office as he's shaking hands, and I met Dabo and his wife, and he gave us the pitch on going to Clemson. And I had just met Dominic and Deuce, minutes earlier, and he's like, "Oh, this is Dabo. This is my friend Dan." He's, "Hey, Dan." And he's great. I'm ready to play for Clemson. Deuce was not. He ended up, of course, going to USC.
Sure.
And he probably would have gone to Oklahoma had Lincoln Riley stayed there.
Yeah.
And anyway, so yeah, his grandpa is Kerry. We've gotten to know his uncles as well, Uncle Paulie and Uncle Nick.
There you go. Who both cracked open the Dommy lights.
And
so
we're at Kerry Mounts' ranch.
Yeah,
there's cows, there's land,
there's
lots
a lot
of
of
land,
cows, there's
and
a lot
the
of land.
starry skies above.
Yeah, and I hope I don't offend anybody by saying this, because we're probably going to have to be here for like 3 more hours. But what Kerry did was the most amazing thing you could possibly pull off, which is just having your daughter marry a super athletic black guy.
Interesting. Why would you have to put the race in? Couldn't it just be a super athletic guy? What if your daughter married Luca?
Well, there aren't.
That'd be pretty sweet.
They're like, that's like a 90-10 split.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like, he's...
Like, what if she married Pudge?
His retirement is basically paid for. Like, the kid...
What if your daughter
The kid is going to go in the first round.
Pudge is like 60, and he ends up marrying your daughter.
When she's like 18?
Yeah. Are you on board?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Pudge.
I would rather it be Dominic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one of my daughters is probably got her eye on Deuce because they're more of the same age.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. No. Well, she moved on from Bronny, if you remember.
Yeah,
she
you were previously trying to hook her up with Bronny.
She used to be after Bronny, and
then he got the Vex.
Yeah, the heart thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how stable that's going to be. Plus, why a one sports star?
Yeah, no. Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, Deuce.
When you could go 2.
Deuce obviously was also in that Clemson trip. After the game, we hopped in a golf cart and went over to the baseball field where the baseball coach gave the full court press on, hey, why don't you come play here and look at all these former current major leaguers who went to Clemson.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we've said this before, but like, he is legitimately like the most grown-up kid I've ever met in my life. Like, he's
more grown up than anyone sitting here right now.
100%. All 4 of us.
I don't even understand it.
He is like the most mature, just nicest, kindest dude that is 6'6" and 240.
And I've asked Dominic, too, like, okay, because my daughters also can present, like Ava, for instance.
Yeah.
When she comes over to babysit, don't you feel she's very mature?
Way different than she is whenever she's trashing me
That's what I'm
behind my
saying.
back. Yeah.
But then, like, it's like, I remember we went over there once. Was it dinner? No,
Maybe a birthday, something like
we
that,
gave
yeah.
and then once she got in the car, she's like, oh, finally, I can just say stuff. And then she started going nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. And does Deuce do that?
It doesn't seem like it.
No, that's what Dominic said. He's like, no. Even like when we...
Shout out to Kerry.
You think that's genes?
I don't know. I mean, people raise you right. That's a cool thing.
You're blaming me then for my daughters.
I'm also blaming my grandparents and my parents for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just seems awesome.
Let's give it to
Rathman.
To the Mounts family, and we'll give it to Rathman. And, So, on today's program, we do have some sports for you. This is Jake's last official day of the week because he's got a day off tomorrow. Tomorrow, which is Friday. Everyone, remember? Friday is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today's Thursday.
Like I told you guys yesterday, like, this is easily the trip that I've been the least prepared for in my life because I didn't plan it.
Is it with the wife?
No.
Oh, okay. So, because your wife plans a lot of your trips when you go with her, but if it's the boys, you always plan.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. She plans like international. I typically plan the boys, but this one I was just like, I'll go, whatever.
Well, I thought part of that was
just showed up on me.
I thought part of that was like you want what you want.
Exactly.
It's kind of like I'll go do the shopping, not because I'm really cool.
Yeah.
It's because I want certain things, and you will buy like the not name brand or something.
Yeah, I get very upset when the boys buy like Totino's. I'm like, for $3 more.
The pizza roll, you don't like those?
The Totino's pizza is not good.
Oh, the pizza.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the pizza
I'm
rolls.
like, dude.
I like the Totino's pizza rolls.
Is Greg going?
No, this is not a Greg
Dang.
prankster Greg trip.
I love him.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I can still snowboard at all.
Oh, you're a snowboarder.
Why'd you say it like Christopher Walken?
Snowboarder. I don't know. You said skiing trips. I guess I just assumed you were skiing.
No.
Snowboarding's harder.
No, it's not.
That's what I've heard.
I can't ski.
You know what's the easiest is sledding.
Yeah, you
Kind of
just
sit on it, right?
You just sit there.
Yeah.
And then crash into a tree or something. I've never snowboarded. I have
Why are
skied.
you both saying it's so weird?
We're just putting emphasis on the snow.
I have, I've of course used to ski at, Holiday Valley and
Yeah, with Pops.
Boston Mills.
With your father who doesn't
Man.
want you.
I thought
Yeah.
about ski club a lot yesterday.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. I think a
Thought
lot of
about
people
ski
did.
club.
You being in ski club. That's just really weird.
Yeah. No, I mean, because you kind of like try to put off this whole like I grew up poor,
Yeah, I grew up
like
in Ohio.
a latchkey kid, nothing is given
Didn't
in
know my
Northeast
dad.
Ohio. Yeah.
Well, those things are all true.
Yeah, but you were in ski club.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't doing anything else.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good start.
Okay. Well, it certainly was not a break the bank type of thing. I didn't say
I'm sure
I
that's
grew
what
up
you want
poor,
people to
but we
think.
certainly didn't, It was a different time, Jake.
Okay.
Poor meant something different.
I don't even know what that means.
But yes, I certainly did have a lot of dads, and none of them want anything to do with me now.
You know,
Thanks. No grandpas, no grandpas, no dads.
Yeah,
but go ahead,
yeah,
just keep
yeah,
bringing
mine
up the
died, You
scoreboard.
didn't know yours. You know what is kind of weird though? It's kind of weird that as famous as you've gotten,
Thank you.
none of them reached out.
Like biological dad, like, hey, I think I need to get more famous
And that way you're kind of like LeBron.
for biological dad to reach out.
Like you never hear anything about LeBron's dad.
Is he
You only
alive?
hear- I mean, he was definitely alive at the beginning.
Because I'm aware of the Shaq dad situation. Are you?
Somewhat, yeah. That he was yeah,
actually raised by his stepdad.
correct.
and once he
yeah.
became
it was like
Shaq-
in the military or something, right?
Then his real dad did reach out, like, "Oh, Shaq,
And that's
you're at
what I'm
LSU.
saying.
You're hey.
Breaking backboards.
Yeah, and he didn't want anything to do with him. I think.
And that's what I'm saying is that like
Yeah.
you're famous, and your dad is
Ish.
still never.
Well, maybe this whole podcast thing will help.
Yeah, you're on YouTube now.
Yeah, we're on you. Hey, did you see little listener response? It said we're like moving up the rankings on the Apple Podcast. Have you seen that?
I did see that. Yeah, that's huge.
How?
I don't know. Like, I guess people are loading it up.
Is that
That's cool.
loading it up?
Yeah, so if you want to support your boys, like now I realize why people say, "Hey, like and subscribe."
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Like it's always like, "Yeah, whatever, man." But apparently that does help us in some way.
Yeah.
If you actually subscribe.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have to tell you that you don't need to listen to every second, but subscribing is great. Subscribing and downloading it helps the numbers.
Yeah, according to Ginny, we're top 16 already, right behind First Take.
Okay, well, let's get some hotter opinions, and maybe we'll get we can
Jump
climb
'em.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire McCarthy.
The Cowboys will never win.
You don't even have you're the cat that just got out of the house.
I'm just thinking of reasons, but I can't because they will win. They're going to win big. In fact, I think that's part of our program today because I believe Jerry made some declarations. Also, part of our program today will be we're going to check in with Dominic Robinson, he of Deuce Robinson fame.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in Hawaii right now. And we also have a guest booked to talk about some real-life news stuff, Liz Bruenig. But I have this, if you care. Just
Hey,
a little.
everybody. It's time to answer some of today's viewer mail.
Let's see what we got here. Got a bunch of birthdays. Let's see. From Josh, I've stood. It's my birthday. I've stood near Jake while he smoked cigarettes.
Another one, Blake.
Maybe this is
But he
good enough for a shout out.
But Jake didn't smoke a cigarette with him.
No, but he was near Jake, and they were both smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
Don't you feel like
Okay.
you're
I'll
kindred
add it.
spirits in that way?
Yeah, I do.
He said, more importantly, based on Blake's analytics note, I think there's a good chance I'm the listener who lives closest to Nebraska. I live in Colorado. If there's a Nebraska-sized hole in your listener map a week from now, I'll make the drive out there to download your show just so y'all can close that box out. That's Josh.
That would be big.
Yeah.
And I think that's very nice, except I got plenty of other emails saying, hey, wait, I live in Nebraska. I'm loading you guys up.
What's going on?
What's up with these analytics?
I think those are Patreon subscribers that have not watched a YouTube video in Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
You were basing it all on YouTube then?
Yeah, those are the analytics I was talking about.
Okay, because we have a lot of, well, now we have the Apple podcast platform and we have the Spotify.
And the Overcast.
We're so bad at this.
Austin Pryor, longtime listener, first-time emailer, age 35, leaders Tommy Maddox, Blake Cantu.
Tommy Maddox, LD
Marshall
Bell,
Henderson.
Blake Cantu transferred from LD Bell to South Lake Carroll.
How do you know this?
And Marshall Henderson.
Marshall Henderson,
Oh.
LD Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this because I grew up in the mid-cities.
Request, Blake to figure out my subscriber number. I signed up after the Akash episode where he said something that wound up in court.
That did happen, yeah.
He also wants you to figure out Tyler Sagan's War and have inter-sport war games with Jackie Robinson, Ernie Banks, and Nolan Ryan.
That's a really weird request.
Austin Pryor.
Tommy Maddox, you met him, didn't you?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He's been a guest.
Started a Super Bowl.
Did he really?
I'm pretty sure.
Boy, I'm going to call foul on that. I'm saying that Tommy Maddox did not start a Super Bowl.
Was it Neil O'Donnell?
Yeah.
That sounds better.
Okay.
But you said it with really good...
He had a nice little career, though.
We'll take your word for it.
Day One DF. I'd be honored if you wish my wife... I think he has a typo. Michelle Person. But his name is Peterson. So Michelle Peterson, happy birthday.
Okay.
I would have wakened her up in that special way, but alas, I am not a Red Wings fan.
Good God.
Yeah, gallery like that.
The gallery did like that.
We still don't have a view in Nebraska.
My goodness.
She listens when I have her trapped in my car. She pretends to be annoyed by the presentation, but seems to be engaged and enjoying it while crushing candy. Her leader is Jake's pegging kit.
I don't have a kid, so...
And Blake's wife torquing that nipple ring out mid-bang from Michael Peterson.
Some of that's right.
Some of it. Not all of it, but some of it.
Oh, here's one that's not a birthday. Dear Dan, let Jake know he is 100% spot on about UT not being ready for the rough and tumble SEC, as evidenced by what happened to them earlier this year when they went on the road to Alabama and got slapped around so hard that they won by double digits. LOL. We get that the horns down thing is dumb, but let's not pretend they're SMU or something. From Matt.
Okay, Matt, email us in a year when you're 6-6.
It means he has to subscribe for another year. So I like that. I like that.
That's
plan.
exactly what I was doing. Yeah.
So we mentioned yesterday that Brian Hendrickson Venmo'd us to get around some of the Patreon fees.
Okay.
And that opened the floodgates. So we've had a lot of subscribers Venmo us for various things.
Oh.
Is it like when Ham used to Venmo me $1 on my birthday?
For a corn dog?
Yeah.
Jeff Venmo'd us $10 for Pizza Friday.
Okay.
Preach.
Preach.
Aaron sent us some money for some coffee, $5 for some coffee. And Nathan Brown sent us $1.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good.
I got an email that somebody PayPal'd us something, but we don't have a PayPal.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out PayPal.
But how would you have PayPal'd us if we don't have it? Do you just put in someone's email?
Probably.
Huh.
But yeah,
Maybe I'll just pocket that then.
I've had some fun. I've had some funds roll in. Ethan Levins, $50.
Boy.
Arthur Bravo, $70.
We're living it up.
But all that to say, thank you for the Venmos.
Tommy Maddox did go 7-3 and won in 2002, so I wasn't totally wrong.
You're going to die on this hill? The Tommy Maddox hill?
I mean, probably the most successful quarterback from the DFW Metroplex. Who else would it be? Gallery?
From
Stafford.
DFW.
Stafford.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But outside of that,
Baker?
he's from Austin.
All right. Well,
Hey, thanks. Great point, Jake.
yeah, well, I don't know that it was in the end. Do you have any other things you want to empty from the bag before we slide into Cowboy? We do have Cowboy of the day.
Not really. I did want to tell you a brief story. I don't know if I try to not be like too much kid story guy because I think it's annoying to people. But we gave my daughter a piggy bank. You know, it's just a little whatever. You're probably fairly
Yes, feels like an
Understanding.
antiquated notion in this day and age.
you
Like,
don't because you don't have coins.
yeah, I used to have my daughters
Yeah.
roll my change, and
Yeah.
that would be a thing we'd do together, and I'd give them a cut.
Yeah.
And yeah, now when would they get a coin?
Don't know, but looked in there 2 nights ago, and there was a $20 bill.
Okay.
And, we said, where'd you get that? And she said, I took it out of Dad's wallet.
Okay. She's about the exact same age as little Eden when she did that, like, took a 5 from her sister's stash or something.
Yeah.
And we did the exact same thing and kind of had to explain to her, well, no, you just
I was
can't.
like, well, you stole from me, you know? And here's the weird part about it. I had like $80 in my wallet. I rarely have cash, but I just, for some reason, like, I don't know if it was
Strip club night?
strip club night, yeah.
Yeah.
And she knew to just take $120, just put it in the bank.
Like he won't notice if there's one gone.
I guess so. I was like, babe, where'd you get that? She's like, I took it from your wallet.
Okay.
So we had to have a conversation about the concept of theft.
Yeah. No, I remember because my daughter was like almost crying when we told her like it was wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'm just trying. We're just explaining it. It's not because it's just the weird thing is it's a little piece of paper.
I know, right? Yeah, like
It's-
explaining the concept of money. Which
Why is that piece of
Forky
paper?
tries to do. I don't know if you're in the Forky Toy Story era.
Forky?
Forky's from, I think, Toy Story 3? 4? Gallery doesn't know.
Why is that piece of paper different than this piece of paper?
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's because that says 100.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She just
So I can get more stuff with it?
lifted it, put it in her bank, and was like, I'm like, well, where'd you get this? She's like, I took it from you. And
Because there's nothing in that piggy bank.
there was nothing else in there, no.
Yeah,
It was-
like,
it was
hey,
just
well, you
the-
gave me a piggy bank and you gave me nothing.
Yeah.
I need something to put in it.
Right. So why don't I just steal it from you?
I wonder if those. I wonder because remember we did a segment before on the eradication of the penny. Like, why don't we just get rid of it?
Yeah.
Yet it's so important to the economy for some reason. I wonder if it's still the case.
Yeah, that's a good. That was like 10 years ago. So I don't really know, but I would imagine that we are approaching the point where the production of the penny is worth less than
The penny.
the penny. Yeah. But yeah, dude, we are in a serious inflection point on the disciplining the child point.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I think, and I don't want to get like too specific because I don't want to like blow my wife's spot up or anything, but I think you and I are both like guys who we've punched holes in walls.
Yeah.
When our moms were yelling at us. And I'm just like, dude, we just can't get mad at the kid.
And we're like, that's a to me, that's a, when you hear about, let's just say you can get really dark with a cycle of abuse or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they were abused, and that's it.
Yeah.
Somehow
and
I've
who
gone,
knows, like nature nurture. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've gone
yeah.
away. I don't understand that because I think, man, if that happened to you, wouldn't you want to be sure not to act like that because you hated it?
Yeah, I can't.
But maybe it's also learned to be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
but it's just, yeah, she's tough, and I just don't want to get mad at her like ever. Even when she steals $20 from my wallet and puts it in her bank account.
Because her
brain is.
Kids are idiots. They literally are. They're not smart.
They are the dumbest
They're
people on
idiots.
earth. Yes.
Like when you're teaching them 3 + 7, you should understand they're not smart.
Yeah.
They don't know anything.
No.
They're morons.
Like imagine how dumb I am and how dumb you are, and then like make it like 5% of that smart.
Right. Yet we're like, to them, we're Einstein.
Yeah.
Which is why it sucks when they get older and they kind of realize you're a fraud.
That's
like,
very true.
This is the person I've been
respecting
revering?
my whole life. Yeah.
I shouldn't do that.
Look at this dumbass. Look at these guys are loving it.
Yeah. All right.
From the wonderful world of sports, Radio Sports Scoreboard.
So we have some Jerry stuff.
We do.
And I'm not the one with that stuff. So I don't know what you guys have.
Do you want to set it up? Or this is from the Senior Bowl. I had no idea why he was even talking.
I don't think it's the Senior Bowl. I think it's the thing you're doing.
No, it's at the Senior Bowl.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because the East-West Shrine Bowl is tomorrow.
In Frisco.
Yeah. And I thought that's what this was.
Oh. I thought I saw a little...
Way to be on top of it.
Yeah, how are we doing so far on this segment, guys?
Not great.
It's from the East-West Shrine Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
Which makes sense. He's making a little FaceTime there, right?
Yeah, and he does this every year. The Senior Bowl is where he does the bus.
Okay.
You know? But it's a weird time because, like, this is... I don't remember him talking after the Green Bay loss. Do you guys?
Yeah, he did.
Did we play it?
Yeah, because he quickly said, I'm not real... we're going to talk. I don't have any problems with my coach. We're going to talk. Like, right after the game.
Yeah, well, this is definitely the first time that he's talked since they put out the announcement that McCarthy's going to be back.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll just play a little bit of this. It's Jerry, and he looks so old.
Well, he is 80-something.
Yeah, which, I mean,
he's pretty
might
old.
as well be president,
yeah.
right? So I'll play a little bit of this.
Well, I know how to disrupt and understand disruption. And I think that the nature of what we do with our roster decisions, the fact that we're here looking at help, if you will, for this coming year.
How do you feel like this is going so far? Do you feel like he said anything at all in these first 25 seconds?
I love it. But, yeah,
Here
no.
At the Senior Bowl. The fact that we have free agency opportunities, the fact that
he did Senior Bowl.
He did say Senior Bowl.
Really substantive decisions to make on our roster as it pertains to, particularly influenced by the salary cap. That's enough disruption for me. If I we get through all of those decisions, there'll be a lot of disruption.
What does any of that mean? And yeah, the Senior Bowl is this Saturday. The East-West Shrine is, quote-unquote, today.
So
is he saying that there will be a lot of changes in the roster because of the salary cap?
Well, the weirdest part about it is, like, they're going to bring back every single person that they have that they want to sign outside of, like, maybe Pollard. So what are the big changes you're going to make? This team is going to look exactly the same next year as it does right now.
Like, what are the big free agents on the market anyway? Well, I guess there's
like some defensive linemen that you could possibly go look at, but you're not going to have any cap room because you're going to make CD the highest paid wide receiver. You're going to make Micah the highest paid edge rusher. You've already made...
Not yet. Micah's not up this year, is he?
No, but they'll do that this offseason. If not this offseason, the next, and they have to plan ahead for that.
Yeah, but when you do that, don't you backload those contracts, and then that
and I
first
guess
year
that's
can
the
always
argument
look really low
for extending Dak, right?
Yeah. Because there is like talk of, and I don't know, it's all smoke, but Stephon Diggs not happy. Could you make some kind of a deal and you end up adding Stephon Diggs to this thing? That certainly would be a disruption.
Is that going to help you?
Yeah, if you had Stephon Diggs on this team and not Michael Gallup, but everything else was the same, that wouldn't help you?
Man, I feel like if he wants to come tackle the other team's running back, that would help.
Okay, so that's what you're more concerned with. They were down. They didn't have any points at – did they have any points before halftime?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 27-7, right?
Okay.
They got one, the Ferg. Here he is on McCarthy.
Well, no, not necessarily, but certainly he is in the final year of his contract, so he's under contract, so we didn't have to really do anything at all. And the idea of renewing a contract doesn't necessarily happen at all right after the last game. It can happen at any time. And so that's kind of a wrong signal to send that there's not more future than just this year in the pitcher. So I think that's the case. I think I'm comfortable doing it this way. I know Mike is comfortable doing it this way.
I bet he's not.
I bet he is because let's say Mike McCarthy lost his job. He is going to be highly sought after. He just won 12 games in 3 years in a row. I bet Mike McCarthy is quite comfortable. All right, I'll go into this last year. It's not like I need this to, it's not like I Cliff Kingsbury or something somewhere trying to just, let me get that extension. That'll be great. That way I'll know I'll be like he's fine. And he might not mind leaving.
That's probably the best point. Yeah.
But it was funny just how he was wording that, like, oh, it's not the best thing to do it like this, but we're doing it like this.
And like multiple times they signed Jason Garrett ahead of the time when his contract was supposed to run out.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know obviously at the end they didn't fire him; they just let his contract run.
Yeah, they Miltoned him.
Okay, I didn't know if they.
Or he's like, yeah, I'm just in the basement.
I didn't realize they extended him.
They did.
I know they do
More
it with
than once.
players.
Yeah.
Way too early until it was Dak's turn.
Speaking of Dak.
Well, I think you can look on all three phases and see that we've got room for improvement. We did some good things. I'm going to be generic when I say this, but we need to run the ball better. We need to stop the run better. I like the way that I thought Dak was excellent in his passing this year.
That's his job. Yeah, that's his job.
He is the quarterback.
I thought he made great decisions relative to when he did decide to use his legs. So there were a lot of pluses in that area. Do we have room to improve it with the receiving, routes, running game.
Okay. The routes could be better.
In the running game.
Let me show you an
and the
example.
receiving.
Let me just get down here, and I'm gonna run you a crisp route.
And you do that.
Yeah, and then you cover me.
Yeah.
All right. Here, Kyle Shaw, come here, cover me.
Do we have room to improve it with the receiving, routes, running game, blocking schemes, all of that we can improve upon. But the big thing is we all know there's room for improvement. But the thing that I would emphasize more than anything is that Dak has room for improvement. And not just the scheme around him, but Dak can improve. That's a big plus when you've been playing the game 7 years and you've, by assessment, have some room to get better in. He did this year. I expect him to do it next year and the next year.
Okay, is that a big plus? Is it a big plus if you're saying that's a really big plus if a guy's played for 7 years and you're like, boy, you're not really as good as I think you could be.
Yeah, you're 30.
Yeah, like
all that is right there is just negotiating.
Yeah.
All that is saying, like, you're not good enough. So we're not going to pay you like you're good enough. At least to me, that's the way it reads.
Yeah.
Well, and you know how that ends up working out.
You just pay him.
Yeah.
You just pay him.
Because they would love, I mean, they got to, he did great with his representation.
He did. Todd France has done a phenomenal job.
But at the beginning part of that clip, I think Jerry likes to play catch up a little bit. You remember he was trying to do the 2 tight end thing when New England had been doing it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think he sees Detroit and San Francisco. Well, they like to run the ball.
Yeah.
Let's run the ball better.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they entered this season saying they were going to do.
But it's just the last thing he saw.
Yeah, but
he's ultimately just the type of negotiator and the type of businessman. And look, he's been extremely successful. But he's just like the type of guy who, like, the last person who told him something cool, he's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's been since I've been here watching the team closely.
Yeah.
I think I remember it with, it's kind of like the Michael Irvin stuff happened, you know, the hookers and cocaine, that stuff, that
like,
part. And
no
it was
Randy
like,
Moss.
Yeah, I don't want to draft Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And then Randy Moss is great. And then it's like, okay, you know what? I'll draft Dez. I don't care. Like it's just whatever the latest thing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I agree with that. Yeah, you see some teams get into the Super Bowl with a good running game. You know, unless I can get them Mahomes, and I can't.
Yeah. All right, last one here before we go to some serious talk.
Dak has done nothing to change my mind of any promise for the future. I think I said in the deal that we'd go as far as Dak takes us in the playoffs. Remember that?
Right.
Remember that?
Go as far as Dak takes us.
Right.
How do you feel he played?
And that's how far we went.
Right. So
So my point is that doesn't change a thing.
Okay.
We'll go as far as Dak takes us.
How do you feel he played against Green Bay? You may have just said it there, but how do you feel he performed against the Packers?
Well, I think that we, as a team, laid an egg. And that's not specifically, I want to say it and respond that way. And you could start here, and I'm not trying to be magnanimous or anything, but you can start here and you can go all the way down the line. That was a bad day for us. And manifests and created a lot of scrutiny on days long before that and long after that.
What are you saying?
That's what kind of day it was. And so it'll be an impactful day. We'll do things that honor the fact that we didn't play well against the Packers.
What?
I guess what he's saying is they're not just going to sit, I guess, on their haunches and just kind of go into next year the same, but they really don't have any mobility.
So based on that, that's why I was seeing headlines
that they're all
that
in.
said Cowboys all in.
Yeah, and he doesn't really specifically say that.
Okay, I was waiting to hear that.
Yeah.
Like
he may have used that term like later in the clip,
but he kind of did allude to
we're not
worried about
satisfied.
the future and
Yeah.
all this, and like
we're worried about now. But yeah, they don't have much they can do.
Yeah, again though, every year you see certain teams, you're like, oh, they're up against it, and then all of a sudden they have enough room to do this or that. Like it feels like if they wanted to, they could. Or even the Rams a couple years ago. Wasn't that when people were saying, boy, they've mortgaged their future for this 1 year? Well, now they're back in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to pay for the groceries. You know, the bill will come due at some point. But, yeah, I mean, in the short term, you could probably figure it out.
All right. Well, yes, we do have a guest to get to. So why don't we pause for a moment?
The Dumb Zone. Gentlemen, most of you did not know me when I had the use of my legs. I was strong and proud and arrogant. Now I wonder every hour of my life why God put me into this chair. But when I see defeat in the eyes of my countrymen, in your eyes right now, I start to think that maybe he brought me down for times like these when we all need to be reminded who we truly are, that we will not give up or give in.
Mr. President, with all respect, sir, what you're asking can't be done.
Mr. President. Get back, George. Get back. Do not tell me it can't be done.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Hello, hello. So that was they totally fabricated that.
From what I can tell, that did not happen.
Yeah.
So I never watched that movie. I've always just heard it's a bad movie.
Oh.
That's what I've heard. It did very poorly. It was a box office dud.
Really? I thought it was
time.
great.
Yeah, you were 10.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that probably didn't help.
So one of the key scene you're saying in the movie is FDR stood up out of his wheelchair and said, let's go to war. And everybody's like, yeah, we'll do it because you stood up because you got polio.
Yeah, he was asking for a very risky mission, and they were like, President, it can't be done. And he stands up and says, don't tell me it can't be done.
And it was totally fake.
You heard it? Yeah, the music rises up, and then bam, they're doing it.
Yeah, don't you think if he could have stood up, he would have stood up more?
Yeah.
Like, he probably would have done that all the time. You know? He probably would have walked. For that matter.
Joining us now, maybe you could, if you're viewing,
yeah,
you can already see that we have somebody tapping her foot, saying, why am I sitting here?
Why have you made me wait so long?
But if you're listening, then you don't know that Liz Bruenig is sitting there all mad. It's the great Liz Bruenig.
Yay.
Liz, you don't know it, but I love you. I love your podcast. It is my one must-listen podcast every week. If I can only get to one thing, I will get to Liz and Matt's podcast. And I call it Liz and Matt's because let's be honest, right?
Yeah. This is where the magic all happens. We're in the podcasting dungeon. Yeah.
So the great Liz Bruenig, you may know her, as Matt Bruenig's wife, but most people know Matt Bruenig as Liz Bruenig's husband. This is also, just to refresh everybody's memory, a long time ago, I found some audio that was the Philadelphia 76ers
Locked On
podcast.
Yeah.
and it was the day before September 11th, and they were remembering September 11th.
They didn't forget.
And he was really talking about his memories and just what a sad time that was and all that kind of stuff. But as you may know also in the podcast world, sometimes live reads will happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you kind of integrate it so it seems part of the show. And, once Liz and Matt listened to that same podcast on their podcast, and here's the audio.
I mean, the fact that you see kids, 20-something now, never even knew their family members. You know? It's tough. But let me tell you something that's not tough.
Okay.
Not tough at all. And I'm talking about direct TV streaming.
What?
Right?
What?
Don't cover your mic.
You got one device.
Oh my God.
You sound like fake Norm. You know, I wouldn't pull this level of obscurity if it wasn't that high caliber.
What happened there? What on earth
He went
happened
into his live read of his sponsor, DirecTV Streaming.
Okay. All right. No, that's not reasonable. That's not something.
It's not reasonable. The funniest part to me about that is that they were playing that in a ticket promo during the time that your husband was defending us in a lawsuit against that company.
What, her laugh? They used her laugh?
Yeah. I would just be in my car like, yeah, I don't know if you've put all this together or not, but, you know.
I like to use that as a transition when we're talking about something serious, and then
it's not tough.
I go, yeah, it's not tough. It's not tough at all.
It's not tough at all.
Move on to something else. Yeah.
So Liz doesn't belong with us.
No, not at all.
We don't feel comfortable with you, Liz, because you're like a real person who does real things that are important. We goof around generally. Liz was a writer for the New Republic, the Washington Post. Hey, we've been in there.
Compost.
The New York Times, and now writes for the Atlantic.
I don't have one for that.
In fact, Pulitzer Prize finalist for an article in the Washington Post, which I did not know about. I mean, I knew you were, but I had never read that until this morning. Funny. It's a funny article. Oh, no. I read the wrong thing.
It's not in a comedic vein.
No, not funny at all. It was actually just really depressing and sad. But I read that this morning, Liz. It was unbelievably great. So I think the Pulitzer guys, at least naming you a finalist, got it right. So if they needed my endorsement.
Thank you.
But probably should have gone with you for the overall thing.
You haven't read the others, though.
I did not read the others.
They may have been better.
To be fair.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we actually had you come on today. I actually have heard you talking. I think I heard you talking with Matt, a few months ago about, was it the same person who was recently executed by Alabama?
Kenny, yeah.
Who survived an attempted execution by lethal injection. And I've always thought, just to keep it a little light here to start at least, if you survive an attempted execution, shouldn't you then
You're
at least...
done. Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep you in prison for your life, but bravo. Somehow, whether it was our fault or that you're some kind of a superhuman...
You get to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah. They didn't do that. They just attempted a different way. But was that the one where Matt was staking out the entrance to see who was there and all that kind of stuff?
That was the execution of Jimmy Barber, where we actually found one of the executioners. And Matt was going to follow, based on other executions, we had kind of determined they were bringing in the executioners on an ambulance. to preserve their privacy and not have them use their personal vehicles or anything. So Matt was waiting outside the prison in an area they usually designate for protesters, watching the road to follow any ambulance that left, because that would take us right to where the executioners were. But he got hassled by the cops, and it had some funny hijinks with them. They're like, "Can we search your car?" And he's like, "No, dog."
No way.
Yeah. Just, and there was nothing in it. It was a rental car. There was nothing in there. But Matt, he's a lawyer and,
he's Matt.
He's Matt. So he wasn't going to cooperate with the police and didn't. They talked to him for a few hours.
No, but that was, so this is something that you have been doing for a while now, covering executions?
Yeah. Since, about 2020.
And in covering them, how I know you actually meet with the family, you get to know these people who are on death row, right? Can you tell everybody what actually goes into covering? What does that mean?
Well, so I like to, basically embed with the family of a person who's being executed, but there's a long build-up to that point, and it requires getting to know the person who has the execution date. Everybody in Alabama prisons are so bad that Trump's DOJ sued them for how completely out of control things are. And so everybody in Alabama prisons, even the guys on death row, they all have contraband cell phones. So you can just straight up text these guys. And so I just got to know a lot of them, either through their contraband cell phone usage, or in Jimmy Barber's case, just using the prison communication platform where you can email back and forth. I get to know them, and it takes a long time. They're all very different people. And then, I ask if I can meet their families, if I can talk to their families. And it's just really building relationships is a huge part of this work. And then when it comes time for the execution, I typically ask if I can serve as a personal witness, because the Alabama Department of Corrections won't let me serve as a media witness. In fact, they don't respond to my emails or calls at all. And if you serve as a personal witness for the guy, there's really not much they can do to keep you out, except this time where I got thrown out of prison and kicked off the witness list for smuggling in a pen.
Okay. More on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you go. Yeah. So, we were in the visitation room with Kenny, and these visitations the week of the execution are like 8 hours long. And so I didn't want to forget anything that was said. And so I was wearing kind of high boots when I came to the prison, and I just smuggled a pen and some paper in. They didn't pick it up on the metal detector. And I went in and started taking notes, and the warden happened to see a pen out, and he came in and was like, "Who's got the pen? Who's got the pen?" I didn't say anything. He's like, "Give me the pen, give me the pen." I wouldn't say anything. So he sent some officers in, and they pulled me out of the visitation room, took me to this bathroom, made me pull my shirt up, put their hands in my pants, and felt around, and then made me take my shoes off. And that's where they found my pen and my notes. And so they just kicked me out of the visitation. They just sort of put me outside the gate and closed the bars. And they kicked me off the witness list and said I couldn't witness because I'd smuggled in a pen.
Damn.
So,
hardcore.
Yeah, why can't you have a pen?
Well,
I have
it's a weapon.
no idea. Yeah, I mean, maybe they think the guy would use it as a weapon. Of course, when you're on death row, when you're on what they call death watch, that's the period leading up to the execution.
They
you're
don't
in
want you to
solitary.
kill yourself.
Yeah, they don't want you to kill yourself, but you're in solitary, so it couldn't be a weapon against anybody else. And yeah, I think they don't want journalists really covering what's going on.
You're on death row. They're like, we're killing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not us, not you.
Correct.
Because I would think that would solve a lot of problems. You wouldn't have to worry about the botched execution.
Yeah, and a lot of guys do commit suicide on death row because they, for a lot of reasons, but it's better to, do it yourself and let the state do it if you just completely hate them and don't want them to get one over on you. So it happens. Yeah. Sorry to be such a bummer.
No, that's a weird just stance that the state
No,
takes,
we're going to
I
talk
guess.
about the Cowboys here in like 15 minutes. So.
Yeah, we'll get your thoughts.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So what is specifically different about the way that they're doing this in Alabama now as opposed to the way that it's been done before?
Yeah. So, for a long time, since I guess, for the last 30, 40 odd years, lethal injection has been the most common method of execution in the United States. And Alabama last year or year before last had this series of 3 botched lethal injections. In the first case, the guy died, but it took 3.5 hours. They had pierced him with needles in his hands, feet, arms, everywhere they really could. And then they had cut into his arm looking for a vein they could identify just visually. So they just took some kind of sharp instrument and cut his arm open. It's called a venous cut down. And it's unclear if that's how they eventually succeeded in putting him to death. But I heard that there was this execution that had taken multiple hours and that the guy hadn't been conscious when the curtain went up. Usually when the curtain goes up, the guy has the opportunity to give his last words and to hear his death warrant read to him by the warden. This guy was unconscious. His name was Joe Nathan James. He was completely unconscious. I found that to be extremely strange just based on what I knew about executions. So I went to Alabama, asked his family if we could conduct a second autopsy because the state conducts one. And I went to the autopsy and I saw his body. And that's how we found out about the cut down, which they can't do by protocol. They're not allowed to do that. And all of the failed IV attempts. And I wrote a story on it. And then there was another guy, Alan Miller, who was up next to be executed. Jonathan James was executed in July. Alan Miller was up in September. I met Alan Miller. I met his legal team. I asked a witness, and he survived. Alan survived his lethal injection. And so next up was Kenny. Kenny was scheduled to be executed in November. I got to know Kenny really well. And I went to his execution and he also survived. So Alabama just sort of stopped, like they slowly unlearned to do lethal injections. They just couldn't do it anymore for a period there. I don't know how that happened or why. I'm very curious about that myself. But they decided to really step on the gas with this other method of execution that's statutorily available but had never been tried in the world,
as it were,
which is called nitrogen hypoxia. And that's where they put a gas mask on your face. They pipe in 100% pure nitrogen. It displaces all the oxygen in your body and drops the oxygen level of your blood to lethal levels. That's what they did to Kenny. And so no other state has tried that, though now that Alabama has figured it out, I suspect that they will.
Was there something in like the composition of the injections that changed?
They stopped being able to find veins. They just couldn't find veins. With Kenny and Alan, they pierced them all over, hands, feet. They tried to run a needle under Kenny's collarbone into this subclavian vein in the neck. They jammed a needle in there, but they didn't get a vein. They just got tissue. And so who knows why that is? Were they drunk? Was it a doctor who couldn't see very well? Were they unlicensed, out of practice? It could be anything.
Man, that's crazy.
I know. I'm sorry. I have the, when I'm like at a party or something and someone's like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, you ready for a huge bummer?
Yeah. You should just tell them about the cakes.
Yeah. I also bake and I have kids and the other parts of my life are very happy.
Why did you start covering executions?
I guess kind of like my husband, I have a little bit of a defiant streak. And so I feel like if you're going to defend human life generally, you have to start where most people say that killing is justified, where, at least half of the people in the United States say killing is justified. You can't start with the people who are easiest to defend, because a lot of people already agree people who are innocent and have done nothing wrong deserve to live. That's already agreed. But people who are guilty, who have done things wrong, arguing that they deserve to live is a harder job, and it's more urgent because they don't have a lot of defenders. They don't have a lot of people who are willing to stand up for them.
So you're clearly anti-death penalty.
Yeah, at this point, I think I'm pretty strongly anti-death penalty, yeah.
Had you always been?
Well, I grew up in DFW, where everybody's like, yay, death penalty. My parents were pro-death penalty. Not like they weren't like obsessed with it or anything, but like when executions would be on the news, they would be like, that's a good thing. I remember we were eating in like an Outback steakhouse when Tim McVeigh was executed, and everybody clapped.
Yeah, there are no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules there. So.
Thank you.
So you can do whatever. And I guess as a kid or as a young person, I just thought it was part of the normal run of things, that was a penalty. And if you did something bad, that was something that happened to you. But, the older I got, and the deeper in my faith, the more I started to feel, we've all done things wrong. We're all people who make mistakes every day. And there are differences in degree that are very meaningful, but in terms of in kind, we're all sinners. And, in a certain Augustinian way of looking at things, every human being deserves death. And so it's either all of us get it or none of us get it. And I like the idea that none of us should get it.
Yeah, I always thought it was, it's weird because I'm an atheist, I suppose I would call myself, but I always just thought that this was rooted in your Catholicism, because that's like one of the few things that I love about Catholicism is that they're like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, a lot lot of it is.
And we're not wearing rubbers, right? That's another thing
That's the other thing we're not doing. Yeah. We're raw dogging.
Yeah. A big part of it is the faith. And I get a lot of meaning out of that. But also I like the guys. I mean, you talk about non-judgmental, accepting people. It's going to be guys who have murder convictions every time. I think you watch movies and death row seems like a really violent and scary place, but it's actually not, because everybody's in solitary. And so it's not nearly as scary as Gen Pop, and the guys have typically been there a long time. They're older. Death row is like a nursing home. I think over half of people on death row in the United States have been there longer than 18 years. So they've had some time to think about things and come to terms with things. And usually, they're pretty cool.
A lot of reflection.
Yeah, a lot of thinking about mistakes and stuff like that. Frankly, something we could all do more of.
Well, as you wrote recently that's kind of like even being on death row is somewhat torture.
Yeah, it is. Living under, the impending knowledge of your certain death is a kind of torture. Mock executions are considered torture, I think, by the Geneva Conventions.
What does that mean?
Mock executions, like when you take someone to a wall and you put a gun to their head and you pull the trigger, but there's no bullets in it or something.
Okay.
And you just do it to torture them or make them confess to stuff or whatever. But that is what happened to Kenny. He was put through a mock execution, and so he's a guy who lived through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. He was never really the same after his first execution. It's pretty bad.
And of course, politicians often will say you have to have the death penalty because it's a deterrent. Is that actually the case?
No, places that have the death penalty don't have lower murder rates than places that don't have the death penalty. So, sometimes they have, higher rates of murder than places that don't have the death penalty. So I think the idea that it's a deterrent has been pretty firmly debunked. Even in places that do have the death penalty, whether or not to seek the death penalty is still mostly a matter of prosecutorial discretion. So, you don't know, even if you commit a murder and you're thinking about the possible fallout, you don't know for a fact that they're even going to seek the death penalty. I mean, lots of people just take plea deals. Juries really like life without parole, LWOP, which is, pretty new actually as a penalty. I think Texas only got life without parole in the aughts, I want to say.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a relatively new. Not all places, got it at the same time, and but juries like it, right? Because it can be undone. And so there are a lot of reasons if you're committing a crime that you shouldn't automatically presume you're going to get the death penalty. And so I think that works against its use as a deterrent. Yeah.
I'm against the death penalty personally. I don't think they should have the death penalty, but it's funny to me.
Where's this going?
When they say, well, it's like, well, we're trying to find the most humane way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To kill somebody. And so, yes, this the injection, that works great. Well, until it doesn't. Or, the firing squad seems to be a pretty secure way that you probably can't escape that one. We were talking yesterday, actually, promoting you. Why not the guillotine? It seems like that happens real quickly. Although the head will stay alive for 40 to 55 minutes.
Dan actually believes that.
Yeah, if the head rolling down.
Yeah.
The point is, to me, and I think it's always funny when I hear about war as well. Same thing. There are there's rule. They broke the Geneva Convention. Well, wait. War is I'm supposed to try and kill as many people as I can, but not this way. I'm also not pro-war. So by the same token, I just think, well, if there is no humane. If you just determine that killing someone is okay, well then, now what are we quibbling about? Just for your queasiness. And our discussion yesterday a little bit was, Jake, why don't they? Or if these things were public. Oh, I know why, because it was a Today in History note.
Yeah.
There was like a public hanging in 1911. And I thought, boy, that's pretty recent to have a public, government-sanctioned, in-the-square hanging. If that was the case now, we would eradicate the death penalty. And you argued with me. Like you said, that's...
Well, I only argued with you because I'm aware that for centuries, that was like the most common popular form of entertainment, which is, I believe, true. Liz is a lot smarter than me, so she may have evidence to the contrary. but I it's my understanding that for a long time, that's like what people did for fun.
Like, because now they seem to be hardcore trying to keep, they're trying to keep Liz out. They're trying to, any reason they have.
Yeah.
No, you can't view this publicly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe sensibilities have changed, but I know for a long time, that part of society was very dark.
Yeah, public executions were a huge thing. I think the last one was in something crazy like 1936 in Owensboro, Kentucky. No, it's really not. It was a hanging.
Kentucky was the place I had it yesterday. Yeah, 1911.
Yeah. And they drew crowds of thousands. These public executions. I mean, everybody from all around. People came into Owensboro, Kentucky, because there was a female warden who was supposed to be carrying out the execution. Everybody thought that was really salacious and interesting.
That's hot.
Yeah, exactly. But she ended up giving the job to a kind of male surrogate to do it for her. But after
women, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, there was legislation. There were statutes considered about making executions something that happened inside prisons, as opposed to something that happened in public, because people didn't think they were, good for people. They didn't think it was necessarily a good thing for big crowds to get together and get all riled up about violence. And so it gradually became
the UFC
this thing that happens, inside prisons and in secrecy.
It's weird that Kentucky is the last state. They seem so progressive.
Yeah, that is weird.
They've changed a lot.
Yeah.
So how does this how does this affect you?
Yeah, it seems like a pretty heavy load. Like, I just have to worry about whether or not they're going to fire McCarthy.
Yeah, and you like going to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Catholicism, you can pray to the dead, and they can't really do anything except pray for you. But I talked to Kenny and Jimmy, who were guys I really liked, who are dead, and asked them to pray for me to have wisdom and strength and compassion and courage to do all this. And also the work makes me cry, but that doesn't mean it's not good work. I cried the whole plane ride home after Kenny was executed. I'm sitting on the plane bawling, wiping my nose on my sleeve. People are looking at me. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. And it was probably pretty uncomfortable for the two people on either side of me. But he was a friend. He was a friend of mine. It's like that Bob Dylan song, he was a friend. And it's really tough to see them go.
And what do you hope, like I would guess the aforementioned, the article I mentioned earlier that you got nominated for in the Washington Post, like I would think your hope there is, hey, I need to bring this stuff to light so that it can change in the future. Is that kind of what some of your mindset is on writing about executions?
Yeah, if I can change, at least one or two minds about the humanity of the guys on death row, the possibility of change, the potential of forgiveness, if I can just make those things seem a little more real and a little more possible to like one or two people, I've accomplished my life's work. That's my small contribution to ending the death penalty.
Well, thoughts on Mike McCarthy staying with the Cowboys?
What do we do in the draft?
Yeah.
My dad's a huge Cowboys fan. And I can remember in the 90s, my mom telling my brother and I, Daddy's not mad at you. Daddy's mad at the Cowboys.
Boy.
It's okay.
My wife knows those words all too well.
So I have great love and affection for the Cowboys. Every year, somebody makes it their job to try to explain the rules of football to me, and I have aggressively declined to learn. I don't really understand, but it's good. It's
Stay
good
where
to have
you
on
are.
TV.
It's better to not know. Yeah.
It lends a certain mystique. And Matt loves it. I love it because it means it's fall, and I love the holidays, and so I look forward to football season every year.
The only the thing I have to say about football and Catholicism is
interesting.
When my wife was Catholic as well, and she wanted to get married in the Catholic Church, so we had to have counseling before to teach us about how to be married. Because Catholic people, they never get divorced. If they go through that. So we had the counseling, and it was the guy telling, there was a guy up there telling us, and he was like, look, ladies and guys, sometimes you have to let your ladies, give them some time. They might like to go shopping.
Yeah.
And my wife was a bit taken aback by that. And then they said, and the guys, you got ladies.
He might have to hit you.
Not
sorry,
that.
My bad.
No.
Sorry.
Give him his time to watch football on Sunday.
Okay.
Leave him alone on Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I will tell my wife, don't you remember the counselor? You want me to do this? It's Sunday.
And what was interesting about that is that guy had been married, right?
I don't believe so. No, he knew everything about marriage, though.
Yeah, it's always funny listening to Catholic priests talk about women be like this. I'm like, how do you know?
Well, Liz,
but,
thanks for your husband, and thank you.
And thank you for being Liz.
You guys are the best.
Yeah. Go check out their podcast. Go check out The New Republic.
No,
excuse me, not The New Republic. The Atlantic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And check out The Bruenigs. Available on Patreon only.
Ooh.
Isn't that correct, Liz? Patreon.com?
That's right.
fellow Patreon buddy.
Let's talk ketamine next time.
Oh yeah, love ketamine.
Oh, this guy's back here fist pumping.
Yeah, if you've got a drug, I'll do it. That's another big part of my job.
Okay, nice.
All right, thanks, man. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Liz.
you.
Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
That's the great Liz
Bye.
Bruenig. Yay, indeed.
Yay, indeed. Yay, 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 yay.
Want to hook up our next guest? And we'll slide into the news. Want to do some news?
Sure.
Okay.
Here's
Huh?
Jay.
Yeah.
With the
Let me get him.
We'll just add him?
Yeah.
Do I have to wait or what?
No. We'll just let him pop on when he wants to. It's we're gonna hook up with Dominic Robinson.
Of course. Yeah. I just didn't know if we needed to wait.
No, go ahead.
So
you just do your thing.
That's what I do. Yeah, I just do my thing. A couple stories that I definitely want to get to here, and none of them are all that positive. I'm just going to be honest with you, fellas. North Texas man sentenced to federal prison for child porn after messaging 14-year-old boy on Snapchat, which I think, as Blake said yesterday, isn't that supposed to be anonymous?
Yeah, that's news to me.
Yes, he was hoping it was.
Guy's 33. How did we start talking about To Catch Your Predator yesterday?
This.
It was the same story?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, there's some updates, but yeah, it's 210 months in federal prison for this specific crime.
210. Why don't they say them a number of years so I don't have to do that?
You don't like doing that?
Well, I guess 12 months in a year and then times
You guess?
10. So it's definitely over.
You're just assuming?
It's definitely over 12. Well, what calendar are we using?
Gregorian.
Yeah. So that's 12 months. And then, times 10 would be 120. So it's more than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think I had like the sentencing yesterday, but yeah, it's 210 months. In one of their first actual moves of being proactive as far as content, Elon Musk's X has paused Twitter searches for the Taylor Swift deepfakes, which is probably why we couldn't find them the other day.
Well, how do you do that?
Oh, okay, X Twitter. When you said his X, I'm thinking of, is that Grimes? What's his
Grimes?
His
yeah.
wife's name. Okay, Twitter is now X. Sorry.
They
When you
could
say
just-
Elon
Everyone
Musk,
has to say X, formerly known as Twitter. Right?
Okay, that's yes.
They can restrict searches?
Yeah. If you're the most famous person in the world.
Now, is there conspiracy about that? That actually it's because she is a lefty?
I have seen some controversy about and I don't even think she's endorsed Biden or anything.
No.
But I know Hannity last night went off on Taylor Swift, which I would say just from a strategic standpoint, very bad idea.
What, to go off on Taylor Swift?
Yeah. If there's anybody that can just convince a bunch of minions to do something.
Maybe. I mean, celebrities have been telling people to vote certain ways for a long time. And I
Dude,
don't
she's
think it
the
really
most
matters.
famous. Alec Baldwin is a dickhead, right? Nobody likes that guy.
Yeah.
Now, maybe the argument against it would be that most of her audience is 15.
Good point. Yeah, it was like Dude Perfect saying get out the vote.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But she is very, very famous. Again, I've said it. She's the most famous person since Michael Jackson.
But if you're stoked on Trump, well, I guess that's not what we're worried about. We're worried about the people that are on the fence.
Yeah, that have moldable minds that are
Yeah.
18 or 19 that she can definitely influence. That are not going to dig into this or that issue.
So I don't know all
I
this.
think taking on Taylor Swift is a bad idea.
But I only know this stuff at arm's length or headline stuff. But it also seems that some of the vitriol is because, or from what I understand, because there used to be some kind of a theory that she was actually real hardcore right. Did you know about this or no?
Yeah, I mean I've seen it, but I don't know how much
Because
veracity.
she wasn't willing to go out and give an endorsement anywhere.
Yeah.
It was assumed, someone like that usually would be all over. They'd be endorsing the Democrats. So she's one of us. She's real hardcore. She's into conspiracy theories. She's Q. But now that they find out she's not, we need to attack her. I don't know. Or care.
Yeah, I don't know or care either. I think the biggest thing is just that she's super safe, Like her whole brand is just...
Right, she didn't want to take a side.
Yeah, she's
like, hey,
she's not overly sexualized.
Everybody to buy my...
Yeah.
Or she wasn't overly sexualized till the AI thing.
Right. Republicans buy sneakers too.
I was sent something with, I think her having relations with a Muppet of some sort.
Yeah, people were...
Was it Oscar the Grouch? Somebody.
I think it was...
Perhaps Grover?
No. Well, I saw a Grover one, but I also saw a Kermit one.
Okay.
I think
that
the Kermit
doesn't seem
one was...
seems like Grover would be more fun.
Go on.
Doesn't it? Just look how he's all... I mean, Kermit's all tiny and slimy. He's a little frog.
What is Grover?
He's fuzzy. He's big. He's a bit more burly. He's not bearish, but he's...
But what is
in good shape.
Grover's in good shape?
Yeah, it just seems like
this
Grover
is the dumbest conversation we've ever had.
Feels like he'd be wild.
And Kermit's just missionary?
Kermit's like Kill. If there's an F, Marry, Kill in here somewhere,
okay,
I'm going to marry Snuffleupagus.
I was
you know
a big
what that
fan.
is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I was a big Sesame guy. Big Muppet guy.
No deal?
I was into Arthur. You have something to say over there?
Were you trying to cough the word gay? Because I didn't hear it. I just heard a cough.
I'll let you fill in the blanks, Chief.
Is that why you love the...
yesterday he was saying the R word, and then now he won't even say gay.
It was a quote from The Hangover. Was it not?
He said retard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's often quoting movies.
Yeah.
If you know Jake for 5 minutes, you're going to hear...
This
you're going to hear some classic lines.
But he was wanting you to play unedited music. I mean, he was unhinged yesterday. It just took one day.
I just don't think we have to be worried about any of this at all anymore.
No, I enjoy it. I want...
And like I said yesterday, he calls me after the show. He's like, hey, why are you being so soft?
That never happened in that way.
I want to bring back the guy I loved first. Surveillance video catches possum stealing bag of cookies from Texas porch.
Is this really a story on a website that you found?
It's on all of the websites.
No.
It is.
You're saying more than one TV station has said, I want this on ours.
3 of them.
What is this world coming to?
It's not a zoo birth.
No, but
I know you.
That's also not a story.
What
Surveillance. Do you hate? Someone in a community of 8 million, someone's going to have something stolen from it. All right.
Why were there cookies on the porch?
Well, here's why it's a story. Because it happened in Southlake.
Whoa! Now you're interested.
I'm not. No. I have a porch and I have surveillance.
And here's how
video.
it becomes a story.
Because I send it to Channel 8?
Yeah.
No. Because the Southlake Police Department posted about it.
And then every TV station's like,
yeah,
love this.
Yeah. It was just a gift, like with a balloon left on a porch for a kid.
Perhaps a Tiff's treat?
Maybe a Tiff's treat.
You know what?
You know,
those are awesome.
It's Jake here for Tiff's treats. And if you
this space open for you, Tiff's treats.
If you'd like to contact us about a potential advertisement relationship, we would love that.
I'm going to tell you what.
And now Carrie is pulling out a pellet gun to shoot me in the nuts.
These
right behind you. You see that right there, Dan? That's a pellet gun. Tiff's treats?
How does it get to your house that warm?
Nobody knows.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. That's why the possum was able to figure
Sniff
it out.
it out?
You know? Yeah.
I'm very pro Tiff's treats. If you
That's
know,
not that hot. That's
who's
not that hot of an opinion.
You're like, all right, where's this guy stand on the death penalty? Oh, okay. Well, what about Tiff Streets?
Tiff Streets.
So he's anti-death penalty, anti-war, pro-Tiff. I just want to show that I'm pro some things.
Man, we had a tough scene the other night where. So I just want to say that I'm a huge fan of all pro foundation repair, but some foundations are just unrepairable.
Mm-hmm.
The door to my garage doesn't close properly. Tony's done what he's able to do. Most of it's
your house is like 80 years old.
It is very old.
Yeah, that's
the cat slept in the garage.
a big part. Like if you built a new house there, you could shore that thing up.
Like we went out there and the cat's just in the garage, and it's 45 outside.
Oh, it got out.
Yeah,
the 4 Figs cat.
Warranty cat.
Warranty cat. Yeah.
It's so expensive you have a warranty on it.
It's literally never been outside. Like if a possum showed up on my front porch and that cat got outside, that cat would get its head bit off. Like it's not able to live.
So it was a big deal that it slept in the garage.
I would not have been at work the next day had it gotten out.
If you lost the cat?
Yeah, if that garage door would have been open, that cat is dead. Definitely dead.
What's our policy on personal days?
What do you mean?
Is missing cat a good enough reason to miss work?
He told me one time that if Kip or Bodie died, he would not work.
Well, probably just because my wife wouldn't let me go in. And I do whatever she says. Yeah. That's the way it is.
All right, there's your news. What's
Really?
up with Dominic?
The Dumb Zone
Still waiting.
news. Like and
Did you send him the thing?
subscribe.
I did.
Okay.
We play that announcer audio?
Yeah, we can do that real quick.
What are you talking about?
I've been wanting to hear this for a couple days.
Yeah, Blake and I talked about this morning. It's my bad. Let's see here. What is Gen Z labor dispute? Oh, we did that yesterday. Why are we not taking a break right now if we're going to wait on Dominic?
Well, I don't think we're going to wait anymore. We're just going to keep doing the show, and if he doesn't chime in the next 10 minutes, he's kind of going to be out. He's in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
He's got stuff going on.
That's right.
Or we can just interview his in-laws for a couple hours.
Yeah, why not?
Who's got the mic over there?
It's open for whoever wants it.
How long we been going? Because I want to do some Today in History.
Let's do that first.
Before we leave.
About 1:35.
Okay. You guys want to chime in with some Today in History? Or no?
They're not eager.
I thought he has a mic.
They don't seem to want it.
Oh, okay.
Free throws when you got fouled of it.
Okay.
How are we feeling?
Good.
Okay. Today in history. So today is Thursday.
Thursday. Feb 1.
February 1st. On this day in 2003, the Space Shuttle Columbia just flew around and landed. No. It actually...
No, it didn't do that.
Do you remember this?
100%. It blew up over a buddy of mine's parents' farm.
It was a Saturday, right?
Are we talking about the one in Nacogdoches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that was a Saturday.
Yeah.
I believe I might have been doing some kind of Saturday show or something. I don't know. Anyway, it broke up during re-entry.
Shouldn't that just be called entry?
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Screw the Associated Press. On that flight, Elon Ramon.
from Cuba.
The first Israeli in space.
What year was this?
2003.
Okay. I think some people had some hot opinions about what happened to it.
Go on.
2 years after 9/11.
I can't say that I've ever heard this.
Let's just say a non-white may have been blamed for what happened for it. Could this be another attack?
I never heard that.
I've never heard that ever.
I also don't subscribe to loosechange.com.
This was
like you do.
This was on like the middle school playground.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. You guys were looking at Playboys. We were talking about Columbia conspiracy theories.
All I knew was that my friend's family like had a bunch of wreckage on their property, like from the shuttle, which was probably pretty obvious. Didn't really need to add that.
Just wreckage from someone who drove by and got in an accident.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
Yeah, I never thought I had never heard anything like that.
No,
But
I haven't
I just
either.
thought it was like a yay boo, like, hey, we got the first Israeli in space. Oh, they blew up.
I thought you were leading to.
Oh, I died.
He may have been wrongly blamed.
No, I guess that's not the way I think. But you go ahead. And
I was just sharing what people around me were talking about.
people around me on the.
Are there message boards? I haven't seen them.
On this day in 2009, Olympic great Michael Phelps acknowledged regrettable behavior and bad judgment.
So stupid.
After a photo in a British newspaper showed him inhaling marijuana.
From a water pipe.
Yes.
As they call it. That's so dumb.
Was this before or after the many gold medals? Did he win gold medals after this, is what I want to know. Like, did he prove...
I think he won at least a little bit after that, yeah. But, I mean, he was definitely smoking pot the whole time that he was the best athlete in the world.
How does the Mounts household view marijuana and the legalization of?
We are in Oklahoma.
Quite positive. Okay.
The younger generation would like to weigh in with quite positively.
Okay. Father-in-law is just kind of... I can't see.
He has indicated tacit support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Just the one finger up.
But you got to live in Oklahoma.
Well,
they don't
you
have
get a card.
Recreational. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was awesome.
Now I understand why certain members of the family may have just moved back.
Ah, yeah.
From Texas.
Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
It's all making sense now.
Very interesting.
On this day in 2018, a judge ordered a Wisconsin girl named Morgan Geyser to be committed to a mental hospital for 40 years for stabbing a classmate when she was 12.
Can I take a guess?
You know it.
Slenderman?
Slenderman.
Yeah.
I don't really know what exactly that is. She wanted to curry favor with a fictional horror character named Slenderman.
Yeah. It's one of the most effed up documentaries I've ever seen in my life.
I was about to ask. I think you did a report on this.
Yeah, we talked about it. It was so troubling, dude. Like, I don't know. It's one of those deals where you feel like you can guide your little girl in a certain way and don't do this, don't do that, but they are on the internet, and then 2 months later they're crazy. And they kill a classmate. At the behest of a fictional character.
Like, the fictional character was telling them to kill people?
Yeah. Yeah. Really weird. Really, really weird.
Speaking of effed up documentaries.
American Nightmare?
No, I have it written down to watch this weekend.
Okay, I started it.
What's it about?
Like we were talking about yesterday, it's basically like, 2 days ago.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I keep saying yesterday.
It's basically like a real life Gone Girl.
What's Gone Girl?
The Ben Affleck movie where you like fake the.
It's a book.
Okay, thanks. Wives Club book guy.
Pretty good book. But
Is it a
yes.
steamy romance thing?
No, it's like wife like fakes her own death.
What's her name? Jillian something wrote it.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
Jillian Flynn?
Caitlin knows.
Okay.
So it's like that actually happened.
Faked her death to get away from abusive husband, something like that?
Yeah, I think there's like a money play involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was just very manipulative.
Yeah.
There was no money. It was just she.
And he was cheating. So she wanted to get back at him.
Yeah, but did her behavior cause him to cheat? You know, it's really
that's
up for
important.
you to
That
decide.
is an important factor, yeah.
When looking at a guy cheating on his wife,
how big of a bitch was she?
you got to ask, what did she do? Did she please him the way that he deserved?
Yeah, no, that's what we're all thinking for sure. That's the main thing is, did she cause this?
No, I was going to say, speaking of documentaries, I remember one we watched many years ago about this little kid whose mom kept drugging her or faking ailments of hers.
We just talked about this last week.
Yeah.
What?
Mommy Dead and Dearest?
Yeah. No, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, but we just talked about this. Because the girl just got out of prison.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just seeing her everywhere now. Because
Yeah.
my wife, I'll notice it because my wife will watch the Today Show news and then, but she's been on The View.
Yeah, that is what it's called, Blake. You're right. My bad.
Like, she's been everywhere, and like she had her boyfriend kill her mom, but the boyfriend's still in jail and she gets out.
Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
Like,
and now it's like she's I think she's also on the cover of like People magazine or just something, I don't know, she's all over the place. Which how come I can't be on the cover of People?
Was that the whole thing?
I don't know.
That's all you had?
On this day,
his point was, why is a murderer all over People magazine?
I mean, dude, she had it pretty rough. Pretty rough.
should the boyfriend still be in prison if she's not?
You think it should be a package deal?
I mean, if he did pull the trigger, but certainly at her behest.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's get Liz back on.
Yeah, we should ask Liz.
Damn. And on this day in 2022, quarterback Tom Brady, two things happened.
Okay.
Let's rank them. Quarterback Tom Brady announced his retirement from the NFL.
Okay. Wait, for real this time?
No, 6 weeks later, it would reverse course and then announced he would return for one more year.
Because of Adam Schefter.
Wait, so was that 2022?
Which I 100% believe.
Yeah, it was 2022 because he played that season.
Yeah.
And this is February.
Yes. February 1st.
It is so February 1st. Also on that day, ABC News announced that Whoopi Goldberg would be suspended for 2 weeks as co-host of The View over remarks a day earlier about Jews and the Holocaust that the networks called wrong and hurtful.
You came in at a good time, Dominic.
Oh, it's the great Dominic Robinson.
Hey.
Whoopi. Why are we not recording? What's the deal?
We're on, bro.
It says recording hasn't started at the bottom of the StreamYard. We got to make sure. We got to check with Blake. You know how he is with not recording things.
He's got the backup.
We're recording now. Make sure your mic settings are on your mic.
Oh, yeah.
Are we backed up?
Yeah,
we're backed up.
We're backed up. Check your mic settings.
Okay. Am I low? Am I hot?
You just sound like you're on your laptop mic.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure it's feeding the mic. I guess Jake was right. Maybe that's why we take a break. I
just thought, hey, he's here. Come on in. Yeah.
Handle these things. How is it now?
Way
better.
I'm on
yes,
my mic.
Way better. That's better.
Okay.
We had this
I didn't
problem
even
with him
change
before when he was in his abode, remember?
Robinson was regarded in some circles as the best prep cornerback in the nation as a high school senior, but he became a wide receiver at Florida State. The Florida secondary could not slow Robinson on 11/29/03. He had 5 catches for 102 yards, both careers highs, and a 35-yard touchdown in the 38-34 Seminoles victory. I read this from a Dominic Robinson trading card.
You're not up, Jake. Put your video up on StreamYard.
I'm still I never left.
No, you got to go to a new one.
Oh, okay.
He sent us a new one.
How does that relate to Whoopi and the Holocaust?
That's a great question.
It's well, we got you on for your comments on just exactly. Tell us what Whoopi said, and then were you hurt by it? Hey, this place is sweet.
Yeah.
We're at your father-in-law's.
how's the ranch treating you
your
guys?
father-in-law's ranch.
Yeah,
She's got cows and more dogs than I've ever seen in one place.
Have you guys gone and checked out the cows yet, or is that later?
I'm just looking at them from afar.
You're gonna go. Okay.
Yeah. Is that
your
you guys
pond?
Gotta go out. Get out on the.
Nice. I want a pond.
How many acres are we talking about here? 160?
Dang.
Thought it was
That's a
cool
lot of
'cause-
land.
Thought it was cool because I had a half of one.
What if you just peeled off one or two for us? We could throw our studio up here.
Dude, that'd be cool.
Then we'd have that.
Whoa.
Then we'd have that sweet Oklahoma address, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's in Oklahoma, though. That Jake might have a problem with that. Oklahoma address for the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why Texas
he's
doesn't
not
fall
feeling
into the
that.
ocean, Dominic.
So,
Go-
Jake,
go
can we
ahead.
have the
Give me your
draft party
punchline.
there, or no?
I
Is
assume he
that-
knows it because Oklahoma sucks. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We all know.
I don't think he did know. And he's not going to laugh at that.
No, he
Not while-
shouldn't because it's not funny.
Not while Carrie Mounts is living in Oklahoma.
That's right.
Yeah, not on my watch. Hey, is the ranch draft party suitable, or is
Dude,
that not?
imagine us sitting
'Cause that
here.
was the
We're
Cameras
that
set
was the
up.
issue.
We're all in here.
Yeah.
Rinaldi throws it to us.
I'm wearing my USC.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I'll paint my face. He's got the pellet gun. He knows what I'll do. I'm hugging dudes.
I'm throwing on. I'm wearing a no puppet hat.
Amazing. We're
Rinaldi's got to do some serious segment about why he wears the no puppet hat.
yeah.
He's got to bring it down real low.
In
and talk about
2016.
how the no.
There was a presidential debate. This is the perfect draft party spot.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to do it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be.
As
here.
long as you guys will show up. As long as I can have the dumb zone there.
I will stay here until then.
2.5 years from now.
Yeah. This house is great.
Yeah. Okay.
If you guys could choose,
Uh-oh.
I'm going to now talk to the in-laws here for a second.
Question.
Football or baseball? Okay, we have two
See,
baseballs.
This is the guy right here.
Give up.
And
This is
one,
the guy right here.
One, I just want Deuce to be happy, which is a non-answer.
Have you considered, though, that if he did baseball, he would have to go to a baseball game like every day?
Every day.
And he would have to, like, physically be there almost every day.
This was our big discussion with Kyler, though.
Yeah.
And we landed on it should be baseball. This is financially, unless you are a quarterback.
It's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday. And, you know, it depends on it seems to depend on whether you're a receiver or a tight end.
Now, yeah, I guess now.
But the fact that Kelsey is making like $15 million a year.
Right.
And Devontae Adams makes 31 is insane.
But maybe that's changing as time goes.
It might change.
But probably
Yeah.
not enough in just a couple years.
Yeah.
But
I say
but if you're a fourth outfielder, you can probably make Kelsey money.
Michael Choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say like the AT&T girl Why not both? Let's make it happen.
Yeah, why not do a Dion? There hasn't been a two-sport star in years. What's your thoughts on that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, you're like whatever. I'm not doing
Let's go.
I know of three people that have ever played in both.
I already tried. I already tried and failed.
There's Kyler, there's AJ Brown, and there's Deuce Robinson.
You tried and failed what?
Doing both.
What did you play? What was your other sport? Were you baseball?
I played baseball and football for the Knowles.
Why did you assume it was basketball?
I actually asked him if it was baseball, but but let's be honest.
He assumed you were a two guard. I'm just going to be totally honest.
Was Charlie
I just
Ward
wanted
Florida
to
State?
explain why.
Where'd Charlie Ward go?
Charlie Ward was
Florida State. Yeah.
Okay.
Florida State. Yep.
Were you guys buddies? When did he go there?
No, he's older than me. He's 92, 93.
It's definitely when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I graduated in 04.
I was surprised when he was the Heisman winner, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
he was.
I wonder what he made in the NBA. Let's check. You want to check what he made in the NBA, somebody? Or you want me to?
Not really.
Well, you popped your fingers like
Yeah,
you were supposed to.
yeah,
I did.
You stretched them out.
Go ahead, check. Go to
Okay.
Basketball Reference.
Well,
All right, I'll
It's
roll.
good. He had like a 12-year career, I believe.
I was going to say, I'll bet
12,
you.
13 years.
Yeah.
He played for a
All
while.
right, let's do some guesses on what did Charlie Ward make in the NBA?
It was a little bit of a different era, obviously. You don't have to play
Yes, he
the
does.
millionaire.
Yes, he does.
No, yeah, he does. Yeah, that's great. No, let it roll, Dan. Let's go.
I actually do love it.
What did
I do.
Charlie Ward? Only Blake knows.
I would bet 40.
So you say 40. So he started in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Certainly salaries in the mid 90s. The only guy making anything was Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he was making like 30 plus, but outside of that, yeah.
40's pretty good. I'm
Thanks,
gonna go.
thanks, man.
I'm gonna go a little higher though. Give me. Yeah, I'll just go 50. What do you think, Dominic?
I'm going to go with 80.
Final answer?
throughout his NBA career, Ward earned approximately $34 million.
Oh!
Jake's the winner.
Yeah.
Damn it. I hate it when Jake wins.
Everyone does.
So he's run through that already, right? I couldn't hold on to that.
Maybe put it in Doge.
For 10 years. Ooh, that'd be great.
Let Doge go.
Never.
Maybe a little Bimmy.
There you go.
How we doing?
We're fine.
We're hanging.
Maybe a little Brock Purdy for MVP.
Maybe he put it all on Brock Purdy for MVP when he was plus 1325.
Just every time I would come in the meeting room, these guys are like, "Have you seen Doge?"
It was a wild time.
It was. I mean, it went nuts for that week.
I'm like, I don't know what you guys have going on over here.
I believe the Mavs just re-announced that they accept Doge for season tickets. Did you see that yesterday?
No.
Take a look at that.
No, I didn't see that, Kev.
Hey, have you guys seen the GameStop movie?
Never mind. No, is there a
movie on the there's a movie on the GameStop deal. How the GameStop stock like went through the roof, and this one guy had an idea, and he got a bunch of people to short, or they were shorting the stock.
I'm
is
interested.
Is that the one with Slender Man?
No, that's Slender Man.
Oh,
yeah.
Check it out, man. It's awesome. I watched it on the plane on the way over here, and I was fired up. I was ready to buy some stock in something.
I'm very in, weren't you? You were on board with that big.
Oh, you know who was most on board with it?
Joe?
Yes.
Yeah, your brother.
Yeah.
Is he still stoked on that, or?
I think he's holding. He's hodling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't that around the time you told me to buy the theater?
AMC.
Yeah,
That
and
was
then
next in line.
It tanked. Like he had me buy. It was like the day he told me to buy Bitcoin when it was at 70,000.
I didn't say that.
I always jump on Blake's tips.
I was wrong
a little
about
late.
AMC, but I was right about Doge.
You were way right on Doge.
Top Shot.
I was not on that either. I'm currently 500.
Blake, you got to start a blog.
No.
Blake's blog.
No.
The Jones Journal.
Want to do some birthdays?
Sure.
Ronda Rousey is 37.
Dang. She probably should have been in this new Roadhouse, right? Some way, shape, or form.
To get her ass kicked?
I believe Joe Rogan once called her the greatest athlete of all time.
Is that just because you are woke and you want all your movies to be
female?
Like
yeah.
you love the Ghostbusters?
Female Ghostbusters. Female, yep, love all that.
How come Ronda Rousey can't be the star?
Did you ever watch the trailer?
No. Want to fire that bitch up?
Jeez. It's in Slack.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. You can watch it right now if you want, and I promise you.
Oh, but we can't.
Oh yeah.
Air the video then, or can we? No.
Oh, we can.
You could watch it still. Whatever. We're just D'ing around.
Okay.
It's very, very good. Have you seen it, Dominic?
No, the Ronda Rousey dude?
No. There's a new Roadhouse coming out, and it's fantastic.
Oh. No.
It's fantastic.
Is it in January? Would it be worth watching it and
It's
just
literally in Slack, like I just said.
and there? Oh, okay. Slack is not January.
No.
Dumb Money, by the way. Dumb Money is the movie that I'm talking about.
Dumb Money,
About
okay.
the game stuff.
Will you write that
Dumb
down,
Money
Blake?
is
I
what
can't write
it's
it down
called.
right now. I'm looking for a video.
Yeah,
You really
right.
want to watch that?
Put it on the list.
Should I not watch it? Okay.
I don't know.
Jeez, man. No, I'm just trying to do some stuff, and you're yelling at me. Tattoo is
Man.
62. The soccer player Tattoo. The question I have for you guys, what is Tattoo's last name? What is Tattoo's
No idea.
last name?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Went and saw him half a dozen times as a kid. It was awesome. Indoor
Supposed to
soccer
blow that
was so much
music
more
out.
exciting to me than regular soccer. It was so cool. He would pop the top off when he scored a goal. I believe for a period of time he was also the coach.
I believe so, yeah. I once interviewed him. And I went to an indoor soccer game when I was a kid because my brother was stoked on soccer, so they got to play at halftime of like the Cleveland Force game. And it was cool.
It's super cool. Tighter spaces, you got walls. It's a little more action-packed.
You got walls.
You got walls.
No, but that's like the lame thing about going to a soccer game is you're like, oh, they just kicked it out of bounds.
Pecorari is his last name. But I never knew he had a last name.
No,
He's just Tattoo.
This is a little 8-pound, 6-ounce.
Do you guys know the other Tattoo in pop culture?
It was someone that had a bird.
No.
It was from Gilligan's Island, right? Fantasy Island. There you go. Sorry.
The plane. He was a little...
Boss, the plane. Yeah. I'm kind of done with my racist impressions for the week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave that one alone for now.
Andrew DeClerc is 51.
Rangers closer.
That's Jose Leclerc.
Good one.
My bad.
That
So
was not a good one, Dominic.
when my
Yeah,
mom...
it was.
liked
Give him
it.
a point. Give that man a point.
No.
I don't like it when Jake wins, but that was actually okay.
When my mom got divorced from dad number 2, they had lived in Bay Village, Ohio,
Okay.
right next to where I grew up. And so now they got divorced, and my mom had this house to herself. She sold it to Andrew DeClerc.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember you hearing that.
Who played for the Cavs for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Ernie Camacho is 69. I only mention him for me and anyone close to my age who grew up in Cleveland. He was the Indians closer of my youth, like somewhere in the early 80s.
That's a worthless birthday.
Yes, but here, now I'm going to bring it up to 26 years old today. He's a Marlins baseball player. Is Jazz Chisholm.
Let it go.
He helped us almost win a fantasy title this year.
He exploded onto
on the scene, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Anything else you know about him?
I will again reiterate that
a salty player.
Okay,
they would say
high in a guy who packs a lot of protein. Do you have anything else? I grew up around Chisholm Trail my whole life, and at no point until I met you did I think that sounds like Jism.
Well, that's disappointing.
I know.
To you,
I just never thought.
I'm disappointed in your creativity.
You should be.
Because how creative is that? I mean,
it's right there.
Like, who could come up with that?
Who could come up with that? But yeah, it is kind of right there also. So yeah, I just never thought of Jism Trail.
Now, when you lived on Brown Trail, did you?
That one was obvious.
Like a layup.
That's a finger roll.
Okay. Julia Garner is 30. She is the spicy Ruth Langmore in Ozark.
Jake hates that show.
I know, he shouldn't.
I don't like it. I tried.
Billy Mooney is 70.
Creator of the spread offense.
Mooney?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
What do you got for me?
So he's the one bashing my attempts at humor, and then he comes up with that?
Dude, I'm firing up. I'm hitting the extra ball that's different colors and just shooting right now.
Billy Mooney was the little kid in the Twilight Zone who had powers.
Dominic got it, though.
Would wish people into the cornfield.
I did. That would have done real well at like a coaches convention.
Thank you.
At like the AFCA, American Football Coaches Convention. Here's Jake.
The AFCA would have loved that How Mummy joke.
Yeah. They would have enjoyed that.
Harry Styles is 30. Big Harry Styles. Hot?
I'm oddly attracted to him.
Well, he's a good-looking man.
Yeah.
He makes good music, too.
He does.
He does. His last album, I think it was, or 2 albums ago, was really solid.
Now, does it make you feel weird, though, because you knew who he was when he was a kid? Or did you not really know?
See, that's the thing, is I didn't really know.
Like, did you know Selena Gomez as a...
That's the weirdest one for me. And,
okay, because I never saw her in a kid's show, but I've seen her now, and I'm like, what's up?
The weirdest one for me is not her, it's Billie Eilish.
Oh, because she was pretty famous when she was a kid?
She was like 13 and famous, and now I'm like, is that what you had under there?
Yeah. Well, she probably grew into that.
Good grief.
That's a Miley Cyrus thing, though, for sure.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of Miley Cyrus when I was when my kids were little.
Yeah.
It's a good show, too.
I've never seen it.
I enjoyed it.
So I can enjoy that one guilt-free.
Jason Isbell is 45.
The Great.
Do you know him?
Not personally.
Okay. Doesn't Corby know him? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely met him a few times. I went to go see him when we were at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I thought he kind of knew him. Maybe he doesn't.
He's a great dude. Documentary about him. Worth your time. Rehab.
Big Boy.
Also
49.
An absolute legend. I peed my pants one time when he was rapping.
Because of the rapping or?
The ecstasy. Yeah. It was at Hangout on the beach. Outcast, Dan.
Does that? Oh, I know who he is. Does that? Is that part of the ecstasy experience?
Man, I just did not have control of myself.
Apparently.
Yeah, and I said to our good friend Mike Soroy, who we hope will join us on the Super Bowl stream, I was like, bro, I got to go to the bathroom. But there's like 1,000 people behind us. And he's like, you're not going to get to that bathroom in the next 10 minutes. And I was like,
so you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just dries on you? It's.
I think I went back and changed.
Okay.
Yeah, I just let it fly. Also, another note about that, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, none of this is like a good advertisement. Hey, this is Jake for ecstasy.
I mean, I had
Just make sure you bring a change of clothes.
I had a fantastic day. But at that point, I was just like, look, the gallery's like, yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah, you did ecstasy.
Yeah, I did.
It's probably like going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Michael C. Hall, 53.
The great Dexter.
Is that Dexter? Yeah.
How was the reboot?
I'm with you on that one, Blake.
It was fine. It was a good season until the very end, which really, really, really bummed me out.
He came out?
No. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think it's worth your time. But as a Dexter fan, I really enjoyed it.
Go ahead and spoil it. I'm not going to do it.
Well, the whole show is just like Dexter always gets away with it. Like, that's kind of how the season builds, is like, oh, Dexter's in trouble, then somehow he gets away with it.
He wiggles his way out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end, the last season, he discovers, rediscovers his son. Like, his son finds him because he's in, like, Alaska or something. The kid that he had with Rita.
Yeah, of course.
The baby that was left in the blood after the Trinity killer. Okay, I know a lot about Dexter. Okay, the baby was
just like
he was. Yeah. Well, then he gets sent off and lives with Rita's parents. And so in this final season, the son finds Dexter and they reunite, and he sees that he has a lot of his qualities in him. He like kills an animal or something, and so
It's the most boring story I've ever heard
Dexter
in my life.
starts to train him
to be Dexter,
kind of in a way, yeah. And so they meet this other killer. Anyway,
Rocky montage.
At the very end,
down. Yeah.
The son discovers like what Dexter is, like truly, and the son kills him.
Kills Dexter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the whole point of the show
comes around full circle. Is perfect.
Yeah, I
You're
get
supposed
it.
to kill
But
bad
Dexter
people.
always gets away with it, and at the very end, like his own son is the one that eventually takes down Dexter.
I don't know anything about this show, but that sounds awesome.
The way you just
That's
described
terrible.
it sounds great.
No, it's not great. Dexter just dies alone in a forest after his son shoots him. That's horrible. That's a terrible death
but
for Dexter.
But it came around. That's what Dexter did. He killed people that were bad.
And I don't know. I
learned it from you, Dad.
Yeah, they dressed
That's
it up.
why I've said,
I didn't like it.
spoiler alert if you don't want to hear this, that's why I've always said.
A little late. We're deep into it.
No, on the next thing I'm going to say is The Shield. I've always thought that the reason that is the best television show I've ever watched is because they tie the whole thing up from episode 1 to the last episode.
Yes.
Like they plant something in the first episode, and 80 episodes later, they finally pay it off. That,
Now, generally, though, you say, when it comes to The Shield, and then you say spoiler alert. Like, you don't go, hey, spoiler alert, as if it would be anything people could talk about.
Yeah, you're probably right. But still, I said spoiler, so F off.
Did you do The Shield?
No.
You would love it. You would love it.
Yeah, you have to watch it. Let's take this full
What
circle.
about me makes you think I would like it?
I don't know. You're a cool guy.
Yeah, you're awesome. It's an awesome
You
show.
just mock
Awesome
the
people.
books I read. You mock Dexter, and then all of a sudden, dude, you'd love this show.
It's.
I like your Jake imitation.
It's better than my Dwayne Carraway.
Pauly Shore is 56.
You saw him.
Didn't we just do this?
Well, we talked Pauly Shore, but I don't remember why. It wasn't because of his birthday.
It was after
A Weasel.
We saw.
Yeah, he's doing
What
the
was it
Richard
about?
Simmons reboot, but Jake was talking about him seeing the Cumtown guy. Then you said, "Oh, I once saw Pauly Shore." Oh, it's because he
taking
did,
notes.
Yeah. He did a show off
reading
of notes.
off notes.
And then, so he's what, 56 today? That's still young for Pauly Shore.
That's just how old he is.
Well, Blake thought he was like 70.
I mean, he was doing movies in the early 90s. I just thought he'd be in his 60s.
That's not that long
point.
ago.
Am I bogging down? Should I?
Yes, continue, Dan.
Can we go?
Dominic has to go.
Born on this day, not alive anymore. Frederick Douglass.
Debates.
I don't know what that means.
Lincoln Douglas? Am I the only one who's heard of the most famous series of debates that have ever occurred?
I don't know. Do you know?
No.
Well, I'm not just going to look at the only black guy here.
I read the Frederick Douglass book. It's great.
You've never heard of the Lincoln Douglas debates?
No. Fill us in there, Dominic.
It happened.
I feel like back in those days, pretty easy to pick a winner.
No, I mean that was like a famous thing, dude. Like Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass debated like half a dozen times or something, and it was like a healing moment for the nation. It's thought of as like one of the high points of discourse, and you know what? Whatever.
I'm interested. I need to know.
It really brought the nation together at a time like that.
Like Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, surely they wouldn't fight in a war, around that time or anything.
That's when they did agree that, hey, the 40 acres per man thing, yeah, let's do that.
Very fair.
How about a mule?
As long as you stay alive, we're going to do this. Got it.
Wait, I'm 100% wrong.
Golly.
Were you not going to say anything?
What is it?
So what was it?
It's Douglas, but it's not Frederick.
Yeah, so Lincoln's debating a black man in the age of slavery. Okay.
God dang it.
Is this
Don't just yell slave.
Who was it? Now, who is the Douglas?
Stephen Douglas.
Oh, from My Three Sons?
No.
You must be just pretending.
Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass were like very close.
This is our lowest.
I do know that. No, it's not.
It is. This is the worst moment we've ever had.
Yeah, but you thought...
I thought they debated.
That there are public debates between a white man and a black man in 1850.
Frederick Douglass was like a public intellectual. He was
yes, I know.
Okay, so I'm just saying, like, it was not impossible that he could have been involved in a debate. He was friends with Abraham Lincoln.
We had Liz Bruenig on, and for like a little bit, we did a respectable
little
show.
Bit of legitimacy.
We were okay for a little bit.
So he debated someone named Douglas, but it wasn't about...
Stephen, yeah, from whatever.
Am I wrong that Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln were friends? Just keep going.
You have to read the next birthday.
Robert Tractor Trailer.
Okay.
Ooh, Dan.
No longer alive, but yes.
He won that trade.
So this isn't the anniversary of that.
Yes, Stephen Douglas, definitely white. Thank you, Kerry. Right. I appreciate that. That is...
They were probably... The debate was, how long to extend slavery. Like, we should have more slavery. And Lincoln just wanted a little more, and Stephen Douglas...
After their second meeting, Frederick Douglass became a respected advisor to Lincoln.
I mean, was Tractor Trailer like a good player?
He was in college.
Yeah. And, of course, Donnie Nelson came in studio with us. Donnie Nelson, who traded Tractor Trailer for Dirk.
Yeah.
I believe it was, like, the body wasn't even cold.
It was that morning, yeah. He died. And I asked him if he won the trade. And Dirk was in, what, year 14?
10 to 12,
like,
yeah.
Just coming off an MVP season.
Yeah.
And he did.
And the best part about that is Donnie Nelson laughed at that.
Yeah. Well, Donnie Nelson's to me, a great dude. Never did anything untoward towards me.
On the 11th anniversary of Lincoln's death in 1876, Douglas delivered a speech at the dedication of the Freedmen's Monument in Washington.
Also born on this day, now dead.
All right. I'm out of here.
Wait.
This is the worst episode I've ever been a part of.
Are you really out? Because we're almost done.
I need to distance myself. Hey, I need you guys text me. I need a Bluey, a couple of Blueys to watch.
Well,
we try to watch
just
it,
got
and
some
I
new
haven't-
episodes.
I haven't picked up any good ones. I've watched like a couple.
You don't like
but
them?
I need you guys to send me some. They've just been okay. I'm waiting for, like, you guys have talked about some heat coming from Bluey.
My favorite episode of all time.
I need some Rex. I need some Bluey Rex.
Dance mode
recommendations.
Where are you?
Would you agree, Blake?
Yeah, dance mode's
in-
good.
Dance mode's
I'm in
incredible.
Hawaii. I'm on the porch.
What
is it getting windy?
What island?
No.
Maui.
Okay.
Oprah.
Never been there. Is that where Oprah is? Is that where she caused the fire and
Burned
bought
down
up
the
all
whole, all the
bought
property.
up all the property?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're right across from an island that she like owns a part of or something like that. I know I heard her name.
I've been to Kauai.
Cool.
Don't do it, Jake.
I don't
I
really
know
have
you're
any-
thinking.
What I did, if you want an interesting Kauai fact.
You know exactly what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Forced his way out of San Antonio.
That's quality.
Yeah.
Quality sports comedy.
Is it?
It's going to get us right up that Apple chart. That'll get us
No.
past the low post.
No, I think we're moving down after today.
Oh, we are?
Oh, no. Michael drove all the way up here.
We're available on Apple Podcasts now, Dominic.
At their second meeting
Oh,
on
I love
August 19th,
that.
1864.
I love that.
But wait, what was I talking about? Oh, Kauai. Since just me being there is not actually interesting, but when I was there, when you're eating at a restaurant, as people will eat at restaurants, like out on the patio or something, there's always chickens walking around. And of course, being the investigative journalist I am, I'm saying, hey man, what's the deal with all these chickens walking around? And they told us it is because of, the hurricane that happened a few years ago. I guess there was a lot of chickens on one of the islands, and the hurricane displaced them, and now there's just chickens all over the place, because then chickens, much like rabbits, will have relations all the time and then make more chickens.
Interesting.
It's like all them eggs, They would become chickens if you weren't eating them.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
So watch out for the chickens there, Dominic.
Have you ever been to a place like another country? It might have been like this when you were in Mexico that had like free-range monkeys.
No.
It's wild.
I would love that.
They're like, in Costa Rica, they're like squirrels.
I think I would love, but I've
You've seen
also
this?
heard
they'll
take your stuff.
They definitely will. They definitely will. And they're small.
It's one of those things that sounds cool until you got a monkey in your yard.
It's not like a threatening primate, but they are like everywhere, and they just kind of run around, come up and beg for food.
Yeah, I feel like I'd like to be in that world somewhere.
I don't have a clue what that means.
Just the whole, I think
I can't even begin to.
I think we all know what I mean.
Blake, will you save this thing? Bring this thing back up.
All right, just a couple more birthdays. Born on this day, now dead, Wade Wilson, former Cowboy quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback's coach as well.
Died on this day, still dead, Wade Wilson.
He closed the loop, huh?
How about that? Have you ever heard of anything like that?
That's always been my dream.
It'd be kind of cool to know. You don't know what year.
But it's going to be that day.
But it's going to be on your birthday, because that means you could kind of ball out after your birthday. If you make it past your birthday.
It. Yeah, for sure.
You're like on a flight, and somebody's like nervous. Oh, I think this flight... Don't worry. It's not going to crash.
It's not going to crash. I've already cleared my
I'm
birthday.
on it.
Yeah, like LeBron.
Yeah. Boy, that'd be great. Can you work that out somehow? How can we get to
Well,
know?
I'm not God.
Oh. Also died on this day in 1988, Heather O'Rourke. She was the kid in Poltergeist. You've never seen that. Not a chance.
I think I've seen a documentary about
she got taken
that movie.
into the TV. Yeah, like there's a poltergeist curse.
Yeah. There's like 4 or 5 different people that had like really, really messed up stuff happen to them that were in that movie.
And died on this day in 2020, Dustin Diamond.
Oh, Screech.
Jake.
Don't put that on me.
Screech from Saved by the Bell.
You love guys in porn.
Was he in porn?
I think as a last desperate Hail Mary, he did do a little porno. Yeah. Also stabbed a guy in Wisconsin.
Was today
What?
in history?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
The whole Slenderman thing?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was Slenderman related, but
It was Wisconsin, though.
it was. Yeah.
So, Dominic, do you have any closing remarks for our road trip here to beautiful Oklahoma?
Make sure you hit Capierce's and get you a burger.
Is that like the one place in this town? There doesn't seem to be a lot here.
One place.
Is there a
No,
town?
there's one place. It's called Pierce's, but Deuce used to call it Capierce's when he was little.
Okay.
So we call it Capierce's. And their burger is not good if you're trying to, keep it on the healthy road, but the taste is delicious.
When
burger.
When are we entering the portal?
Every day. We're just in and out of the portal. That's just all we're doing now in college football. It's
Success is least not owned, and rent is due every day.
I freaking hate it. It's terrible.
You hate the portal?
I do. I hate all of it.
Do you think that they
I'm
should
an old
have?
man.
Yeah, but what about some kind of I would think you sign them to an actual contract, and
they got to clean it up.
Yeah, but I feel like if they did that with all the players and you had to honor the contract, then I would think any coach that signed a contract also has to honor this. If you sign a 3-year deal, you're getting paid for 3 years for sure, and you have to work for 3. If you get fired, you can go somewhere else, and we have to pay you still. But everybody has to honor their contract. Wouldn't it all be solved that way? And now you sign a 4-year deal with USC or whatever. Okay, honor your contract. I suppose.
Yeah, it will never all be solved, but whatever it is right now needs to be cleaned up badly. It's an absolute mess.
I mean, we knew it was coming in a way.
Yeah. That's how it usually goes, though.
If they are going to continue to try to push the responsibility of paying these players to other people, it's going to. This is how it gets out of control. I mean, you wanted to not pay players. And this is what you get.
Yeah.
You
Wild
get
West.
Bidding wars everywhere. So this is what the NCAA kind of wanted. They just wanted to not be responsible for giving any money to someone.
Yeah, every single player on the UW offense is gone. Their whole offense will be a completely different team this year.
Yeah, and I mean
11 starters.
But
11
again,
starters
their
on
coach
the
would have to
national
honor his
championship
contract.
team, and not one player is returning.
Just look at Alabama's decommits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit different because he resigned. It wasn't like he left for another job, but they've lost 8 guys in their recruiting class already. This has been some great sports talk.
That's why we have Dominic on. Oh, was that your closing remarks?
Yeah, that was it. I love you guys.
Sorry about the whole Frederick Douglass thing. White, black, I don't know. I mixed it up.
Glad you made it out to the ranch. Go see some cows and go get you a burger at Capierce's.
When are you back in the area?
We'll be there for the baseball tournament here in a week or a month. Sorry, next month. We'll be at the Den. Deuce and I will be at the Den. Let's. What do we do? Forward tease that or backwards tease or some sort of.
That's going to be forward. Yep.
We're going to tease.
Yep.
We're going to forward tease Deuce and I in the Den. Kip and Bodie, no holds bar, 2 minutes straight sports. We're going deep into sports. We're going to solve all the issues in sports.
That sounds great.
All right, man.
Tune in.
See you, man.
All right, thanks.
All right,
that's the great Dominic Robinson. Bye. And thanks to our any closing remarks from our hosts. Okay.
You pretty thoroughly disappointed with this experience?
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Adios, mofo.
No puppet, no puppet, no motherfucking puppet. You're the puppet. You're the puppet. No puppet, no puppet, no motherfucking puppet. You're the puppet. You're the puppet. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.